there's Oracle and then there's Tarot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody uses them interchangeably for their own reasons.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? Which one do you prefer, Oracles or just the Tarot cards?
I really prefer Tarot just because it's so much, in my opinion, it's a lot deeper, because a lot of the Oracle cards they absolutely aid in the reading, that's for sure. But I noticed with Tarot, you can correlate so much more with it. Like, you get the King of Wands, and there's so many different things that you can say about the King of Wands, or, it's an actual storyline. Whereas normally, like, Oracle cards, it'll be like, oh, you get one for like, that's about romance, which it can be specific at times, and it's a lot easier to read. So I'd say for a lot of people that are just starting, Oracle cards are amazing because it's a lot easier to read them. Yeah. And you can get deep with Oracle cards too. So, I mean, don't get me wrong on that. You can get deep with them, but I do prefer Tarot just because it's a lot, it's a bit more abstract, and you can kind of let your intuition really guide you on that, which I really like.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it just seems more specific to me.
Yeah. And Tarot
less general.
Tarot has a really great track record. I mean, people have been using it for hundreds and hundreds of years. The one thing that I notice from people that kind of venture into Oracle is that they say that they do it because it seems a little less dark than the Tarot. And I never saw Tarot.
I don't
as
really
dark,
understand that.
because I imagine they're the same sort of dynamic of people that when they pull the death card, they just lose their shit. You know what I'm saying? But I never saw the death card as negative. It's just transformation.
That's one of my favorite cards.
And exactly. Same thing with like the Tower.
I mean, Tower, I would say, is like one of the more, I guess, negative cards, but I see it as such a beautiful card because the Tower, again, brings that awareness that you've built something that wasn't on a solid foundation anyway. So for example, if that comes up for a relationship reading, that's letting you know that you probably didn't have the important conversations in the beginning of that relationship, and you two probably wanted different things, and now it's falling apart, and you're like, why is it falling apart? It's letting you know that there's important lessons to be learned. So look at why exactly this isn't working out, and so for next time, you can either build a solid foundation, or with that person, you can go back to the beginning, because this is all about going back to that foundation because it wasn't built right. Or if you have a business that fails, that's the foundation. So the Tower card, again, brings that such beautiful awareness. So I love when that card comes up too. It can be scary because, yes, it's letting you know that thing's, it's falling apart. But I mean,
it's not a nice way to say that. It's like,
it's falling apart.
I had a situation a while back where I pulled the Tower, and I did that whole thing where I like made sure no one was looking, and I shuffled it back into the deck. And I was like, let me just do that over again a second time, right? And then I shuffled it a few times, and I pulled the Tower again.
The Tarot doesn't lie. When it wants to give you a message, it'll give you a message.
Okay, exactly. That's
like,
exactly what happened. I was
guess.
like, all right, I guess my house is going to burn down. My spiritual house needed some work. There's a lot of people, when they think of like, whenever God comes in, they think he's just going to come in and rearrange the furniture, but he's just going to come and tear your shit down. And that could be the best thing for you.
It can be, because then you can build your castle.
Exactly.
I mean, normally maybe you just had a house and you thought it was the best thing, but universe is coming in letting you know, like, okay, we're going to ruin this, but it's going to be the biggest blessing. But again, it's that paradox. It's whatever your mind goes to, because if your mind takes a situation and you focus on the negatives, you'll fall towards the negatives, because that's what you're feeding. Or you can feed the absolute beauty of it and just feed the energy of, this situation's going to bring me like the most astounding blessing that it's not even in my perspective that I could have. And then if you embody that emotion, you're building that castle.
I love that.
It reminds me of like when we were talking about astrology earlier, like being sort of like the autopilot. It's like that sort of default. And I think with Tarot, when you're living through your regular everyday life, you can kind of intuitively pick up on the different nuances and adjust your life accordingly. But the second you pick up a deck, you are agreeing to taking accountability for a large aspect of your life, because these cards just embody so much truth. And then seeing it in that way with as much power as like the Tower represents, it really is a hero's journey, and it's not an easy task to undertake, especially when you pick up some tarot cards and follow the information that's on there.
Exactly, because sometimes it's not going to tell you the thing that you like, and it's about really seeing why that's coming up. But that's, again, the thing that I love about tarot is because there's so much knowledge in that. So even if you look up a definition and maybe you're going through a really hard thing, it'll tell you kind of the answer below that if you're open to it.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I have trouble with, is that a lot of people, and I think maybe that's the reason why Oracle cards exist, is they seem to kind of soften the blow a little bit.
Definitely.
And especially for people that are just getting into it. If somebody's interested in it, I'll get them, or I'll gift them an Oracle deck before they get into like the nitty gritty of the Tarot. But the one thing that I noticed about Oracle cards is that they can kind of sometimes be too positive. You know?
Yeah, there's some decks that it's just only positive cards.
My life's doing great.
Yeah. And it's great when you want an uplift and you want some like positivity and you're just not feeling a negative message. They're great for that. But I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm just like, hit me with the cold hard truth. Like, like let's deal with this. Let's do the shadow work, guys.
Yeah.